you thought we wouldn't do it again, yet here we are. So you've got Rubber Shoes in beautiful downtown Massachusetts. Timmy here in Southern New Hampshire, and we are down in Adam. He is, I don't know, I think he might be at the Connecticut Sun team banquet. I don't know. They're giving out rings, or oh no, they're not giving out.
No rings.
That's
no
right,
rings.
no rings.
Yeah.
It's a ring-free season-ending banquet. I think he's
maybe it's the Yukon Huskies opening night.
I have no idea.
Girls team.
So many questions, no one to ask. Unfortunately, Scotty Dukes has had COVID sweep through the house and got almost everybody. And now the little Duke boys, yes, are now battling COVID symptoms. So he's in one section of the house. I was told, I think it was on the group chat, that walkie-talkies have been purchased.
Yep. I saw that. Yep.
They will watch Bruins and Celtics and Patriots games together via the walkie-talkies, and he's apparently sliding Pop-Tarts and fluffing out his sandwiches under the door to the boys while they heal. And then, of course,
maybe thin pieces of meat. Maybe he went out and bought a slice of that. I just saw that episode last night.
The Slicer episode on Seinfeld, which is sheer gold. Yeah, the Slicer episode on Seinfeld where they're slicing it razor thin to slide the meat under the door to feed the cat.
I'm loving that they're playing them again on
Netflix.
On Comedy Central's actually running them now.
Oh, okay.
So Comedy Central has Friends, Seinfeld, and Office running just nonstop. It's great.
Oh, they're getting all the viewership now. Well, and it's now over on Netflix as well. So now that Seinfeld's moved to Netflix, Aiden is all in on watching that. He started with the first ever episode of Seinfeld, which wasn't called Seinfeld. Did you know that? I know you know that.
The Seinfeld Chronicles?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And the opening, for people that do or don't care, I'm going to tell you anyway. The first conversation they had on the Seinfeld Chronicles, the first weird Seinfeld-esque conversation, was about the differentiation in the distance between the top button and the next button down. Remember that?
Yep.
And that's when you knew the show was going to be wildly different. And then in the last episode, while they're sitting in holding in the jail cell at the courthouse after they're found guilty, right? Remember that whole thing about this?
Yep.
Yes. And the camera's fading back. The show is about to end, series finale. And he's like, is that second button further away than it should be? Like that, they start the conversation over again. And if you weren't paying attention, their first and last conversation was about the second button.
Nice.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. Such a good show. If you don't know what we're talking about, ask your parents. If they don't know what we're talking about, ask your grandparents, which pains me to say that, but I think we're getting close to that. We're almost there. We're almost.
If we had done things, boom, 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 we could be grandparents right now. That's true.
Yes. Yep. I was just gonna say yes. We have people that are creeping into that age group where they're about to start to wed and spawn little Rubber Shoes and little Timmys. God help us. So a million things to talk about. As you can tell, it's me and Rubber Shoes. So there'll be probably no Law and Order, but we're going to get through the potpourri of topics that Boston sports, New England sports have left us this week. I'm going to dive right in where you and I were talking about before we jumped on. First and foremost, and I agree, and I think you and I share our listenership of a certain sports entity here in the New England area. This morning, the conversation with most of the local sports beat writers was, well, not the Globe though, which is ironic, which is sort of
wonder why.
Yeah, which is making our point. I think apparently Fenway Sports Group, which is now obviously involved with NASCAR, involved with Liverpool, involved with obviously the Red Sox, involved with is it identity? Not identity, but like they're somehow entangled with LeBron.
He's a part owner, I believe, of the.
Yeah, I think initially there was some agency stuff going on there, but now he also he's in.
Yeah.
And as of this morning or breaking overnight, now Fenway Sports Group also wants to dip their toe into the NHL, and they are apparently quietly, but not quietly enough, clearly, because we're talking about it, looking to have a conversation about the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I think you probably know how I feel. Spoiler alert. I think, and I agree with, the way a lot of other people feel. First of all, if it wasn't a secret and if it's not a big deal, put it in the paper that you own. So the fact that it's not in the paper that you own, methinks the lady doth protest too much. Like then talk about it. If it's not, if I shouldn't be worried about it, then tell the story in the Globe, right? Which millions are printed, none are read, but that's beside the point.
Maybe they'll just wait until it's an actual thing that it's so the reports they're in advanced talks about it. So I don't think it's close to a done deal yet.
Yeah.
So
are these Danny Ainge advanced talks or like real advanced talks?
Yes. We were really close.
We were this close. So, and you know what? Honestly, I agree, because when when you're at Gillette, and mind you, there's the Revolution that they also own. And I'm also okay with that because they're also red, white, and blue, and they're also our team. But when I'm at Gillette buying a $20 beer, I know some of that is going to back to Sam Adams or back to Budweiser. I know some of that is obviously going to pay for the person that handed me the beer. I know some small portion in there somewhere is going to help the Patriots be better next year. Bring back one more player that we love next year. And now, if I'm at the Garden, not at the Garden, I apologize. Well, yeah, I'm a perfect example. Now I'm at the Garden as a Bruins fan. I could be staring at a team that's being run by another group in town where I bought a beer a few months ago. Did the beer I bought at Fenway help to pay for the contract to re-sign the guy that's scoring the goal against
Sidney
the Bruins?
Crosby?
Yeah, well, anybody.com, any of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want any of them to get like, and you can't track all that because you get all these teams and all these ownerships and, depending, I'm throwing out like a logo that I see because I know they're based out of Pittsburgh. Like, if my son buys an American Eagle polo shirt, is that helping Ben Roethlisberger get his next contract? I'm not going to lose myself in the minutia of that.
Yeah.
But to have a local ownership be like, we're going to jump into another sport, and we're jumping into another sport for the wrong team.
So I don't mind what you just said, that I'm buying this and maybe that's helping pay for the. What I care about is what just happened this trade deadline for the Red Sox is, they didn't want to go over the luxury tax threshold. So they're saving money, not doing that. They brought in Heim Bloom, who's from the Tampa Bay Rays, who they run it very thin money-wise down there. Yep. And so far with him in here, that's the way he's been doing it. And we're like, he just wants to, refocus the minor league, get it set up so they're not spending all their capital with their prospects to get what they need, that they want to make it bountiful down there so it doesn't hurt them in the long run. And then maybe they go out and make a splash. But then, this week, Erod signs to Detroit Tigers for
5 years, 77
average, just over 15 million a year, which is nothing. They signed him to offer sheet that was worth 18 million. So that's what's concerning me right now, is are they holding back because they want the money to go and do this? If they're all in everywhere, if they're all in Liverpool, all in Roush Fenway, all in the Pittsburgh Penguins, and all in Boston Red Sox, I don't care. As long as they're not skimping one place to help the other, that's where I care. I don't care if I'm spending money at Fenway for them to go sign, whoever. Maybe it's a player that the Bruins were interested in, but they, that I don't mind if they're all in everywhere. It would hurt that you're like, we were in on that. Well, we were Danny Ainge in on that guy, and we lose out. We lose out because I had, Scott. Not really me. I'm not a big drink, but Scotty Dukes had, his couple games worth of beers. We can bring up the pictures.
Absolutely. Yeah, Scotty Dukes where I care. Move the luxury cap for us. Yeah, without fail.
If they're gonna skimp at one because they need to add a little more over here, that's where that's gonna piss me off.
Yeah,
especially if it's my beloved Red Sox.
And like, I completely appreciate that's a separate thing. I mean, you see this happen you can see this happen in all different businesses. Like even in, when you get within an industry, there's all these, in any industry, like, with automotive, you could be a car dealership and you've got all these allied resources that you typically depend on. And then maybe you're just like, well, we're going to start our own company that did that for us because it's easier for us to do it. Right. So for them to be diversifying as an ownership group, I appreciate that. I just think from an ownership group, from a guy that, he came out and spoke after they took the ALCS on the way to the World Series, and Alex is our guy. But then we didn't hear from him after that. And Chaim Bloom is like, we're good. Like, are we starting to realize like why they didn't do something at the deadline? Was all of this, and is there enough money to go around? Do they have enough money, to your point?
It makes you think. Hopefully they're just refocusing what they're doing. And, when they really feel like they can go for it, they go for it. But it does make you question how the deadline went, and, them pass. Even before that, them letting, trading Mookie Betts for pretty much Alex Verdugo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is this part of a longer play? Yeah. And then just like, if you foreshadow to what could be, and we get to the NHL playoffs and we get knocked out by the Penguins and they're in their locker room.
Yeah.
And John Henry's in there. Yeah. Like, can you even imagine? Like, don't come back home, dude. Or if you're at the Garden, careful on the way to your car, I don't know. It's interesting because they're not in, I think the endearment that New England has for the Kraft family, for at least 6, if not a lot more reasons, is they're so divorced from that love. And obviously, the Bruins, Jeremy, help me.
Jeremy Jacobs.
The Jacobs family. Thank you.
They're from Buffalo.
Jacobs family not loved. Yeah. And I can imagine if and I don't know what else they got going on in Buffalo, but I don't think there's anything else going on from a sports standpoint.
No.
And there used to be a big
local
thing. There used to be a big thing. Like it definitely came up when they grabbed, when the Crafts grabbed the Revolution, and got involved with MLS. Like, okay, how many teams can you have an interest in? And I think it's probably happened somewhere else. And the only reason we're worked up is because it's us now. Like, how many other ownership groups have multiple sports teams across multiple sports?
I think at one time I heard on the radio stations that the Kraft family owned multiple MLS teams because they were just trying to keep the league afloat.
Oh, okay.
So they own multiple teams. I think it hurts because it's not a local team, but I hope, I pray to God that it's not going to affect any team that they own.
Oh, I hope it doesn't happen. Like 4,000%. I don't want it to happen.
It's like we love how the Kraft family is from here. They've been Patriots fans their whole life. They're all Celtics invested teams.
Yes.
The Celtics ownership group is from around here. They've been there forever.
Yep.
So that's why it's, Fenway group there. I think John Henry lives here now. I don't know if he's always lived here. I know he lives in Brookline, but I don't know if he's from Brookline or from this area originally.
Yeah, and I'm not losing my mind over that kind of stuff, but that story to me is fascinating because was it this morning or yesterday that the news hit that Erod signed for the 577 with the Tigers? Was it yesterday?
I announced it on the wrap up yesterday.
Oh, breaking news. Okay. Yeah. So so if that's a piece of this, then I'm going to lose my mind. That's not going to be great.
Yeah. I was questioning that at first and hoping that it comes out that Erod just didn't want to come back here. That, the Red Sox matched the offer.
Yeah.
But he just didn't want to be back here. Cause I was hearing over the weekend when this was all coming out about him going to Detroit is that Alex Cora was really tough on him because both Spanish. Well, that was really bad. But even before that, I guess he rode him pretty hard to get him because he was kind of soft. That was the reputation coming from the Baltimore system, is that he didn't really look like he really wanted to be a baseball player. Like he was just out there kind of going through the motions. So
yeah,
Cora kept on him to get what we got out of him.
yeah.
And he was very good. And 15 million for, maybe he can pitch like an ace some days, and then he can pitch like your seventh starter some days. But overall,
he did that in the playoffs.
On average, he's a third starter, and 15 million for a third starter. But also watching what happened in the playoffs, and I think that's the mindset of some of these general managers going forward, is they're gonna do these bullpen games more and more. They'll pay 1 or 2 starting pitches premium prices, and then everyone else is just gonna see what we get. Which I think in the last kill the game doing this.
And in the last 3 years, the starting pitcher needs to go 5. So like everything's changed.
That's a quality outing. It's 5 innings.
Yeah. So that creates that dilutes, it does. It dilutes the talent, and it creates a bigger pool of people that we're willing to throw money at. So now a kid that was going to be considered a setup guy could lose some weight, hit some weights, and work with a good offseason pitching coach, spend his summer in Arizona, and then suddenly he's getting starting pitching money because he can go 4 2/3.
Yeah. Now that's Yep.
It's really interesting.
Also some of it could be the question of the collective bargaining agreement, which
is their focus off too, because they're like, we're not going to be back anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard one of the wants from Major League Baseball, which is it kills me that the whole analytics thing I think is what's ruining the game.
Yeah.
So they said instead of going to arbitration, that they're gonna have the arbitration eligible players just go off of a website's WAR rating. They'll be seeded by however they do in their WAR rating, and that's what they're gonna get paid for their arbitration years. And I'm like, oh my God, it's just getting worse. When you think that like they had their best season in a long time this past year, and hopefully they learn some things and get away. Like I hope they get away from the shift. I hope they make a rule that you have to have 2 infielders on the dirt on both sides of second base, 2 guys on the left side, 2 guys on the right side.
Yep.
Let these guys hit singles again and not have the shift so bad. So I think there's going to be some rule changes that baseball wants, and the players aren't going to want to do it. But I think that's one that the players would probably want, because it's going to be better for them.
When do they go to the universal DH?
So that's probably going to be one that comes up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that the contract, I believe, ends, the end of, so December 1st is the contract's up.
Because that creates a whole new position for the aging first baseman.
Yep.
Right? We're just everybody in general. I think there's a lot of pitchers that enjoy it and do really well behind the plate, and a whole bunch of them will be like, cool.
Yeah, I think the Major League Baseball Players Association is for the DH, because that gives more players. There's more positions now for players.
Sure. Yep.
So that's I like it too, because I don't like going into a National League Park and seeing Chris Sale hit and Evaldi hit, and it's ridiculous. They take some swings like the week before they know they're going to be playing there, that they're going to have to at least have one at bat, and it's not. And pitching for the National League, it's like once you get through, the 7th batter, it's almost layups the last 2 batters for them.
Well, and I think to some extent too, and this is here's us showing our age. Doesn't it feel, and you're going to say no because you pay more attention than I do, doesn't it feel like it was only a little while ago that we went to interleague play, and it's been how many years now?
Yeah,
It's stale. It's almost not even a thing anymore.
Right. It's just the norm now.
Yeah.
I know. I like it back. I know I'm that old guy. Get off my lawn. I like it in the old days. I like when the NHL used to only play the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference only play it. Same with basketball, that you win your conference and then you play the winner of the other conference for the title.
Yeah.
That I like that. I like that with baseball, and football is probably the only sport that's been kind of intermingled throughout the years. But I like the old, let's play our league, you play your league. But if they have a universal DH, I like that a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of it, and I mean, this dovetails to where I guess we want to go next. Or I'll grab the wheel. Since we've been at Fenway, we're gonna head to the Fenway Bowl next, because you know where I'm going with this.
Well, before we shift sports, I just want to say Julio Lugo passed away. Did you hear that? Yeah, Julio Lugo at the age of 45, and they said he died of a heart attack yesterday. So he was on one of our championship teams. So
oh my God.
Yeah, 45, younger than us.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll both get the salad tonight. I'll meet you at the club.
Yeah. I mean, it may come out something else. First reports a heart attack, and where he's probably living in, I think he was from
Venezuela, right?
Venezuela. So who knows if the truth actually comes out, what actually happened, but they said heart attack, first reports. 45. That's scary. Elite athlete dying at 45, and he wasn't a wrestler or a football player.
Yeah. There was no extra. Well, we trust there was nothing going on. Yeah. Oh, yikes.
Now we can shift.
Now we can shift. So, staying in Fenway and going to the Fenway Bowl, which of course, because the Yankees have the Pinstripe Bowl, so the Red Sox and of course the Fenway Sports Group decided to put together the Fenway Bowl, which pained me because there's two conferences that are committed to it. It's the ACC and the AAC.
BC's going there this year to
inaugural. That's my problem. That's my problem is so last weekend we punched our ticket that we're bowl eligible.
You won the 6th game.
Yeah. So, and now this weekend we've got Saturday's Florida State at nooner. And then next weekend might get shifted to a little bit later, only because it's Wake and they're doing well. Are we doing poorly enough? And it looks as if right now that we are. I want to do poorly enough or better than, so we just avoid it. Now it's in our backyard, so we're going to get pushed into it at some point, which is annoying to me.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, well, December 29th. Are you going to go? No, I won't go. Like, nope. I'm not going to go sit in the cold with bad sight lines to watch us play a team from the American Athletic Conference. And above and beyond that, as I said to Janina, she laughed, and I'm probably not wrong. Anytime we play Boston College football at Fenway, the tickets are usually controlled by Notre Dame. So I'm probably going to have to pay way more than I need to go to that game anyway. So I want no part of that. Right now, apparently, Louisville is slated as the projected team from the ACC to play there. I forget who the AAC team was. And they have your Boston College Eagles are headed to the Sun Bowl, which is terrible. It's in El Paso or whatever.
At least it's a warm state.
Yeah. And my wife's crazy enough that she considers it a drivable bowl, but we will not be doing that. But yeah, so I just
better than going to Boise State.
Yeah,
they've been there a couple times.
Well, we won on the Smurf turf when we went. We were the ones that broke the streak. They had like 52 straight wins on the Smurf turf, and then we went and beat them in that stupid bowl, whatever that was.
Yeah. I think it's one of those nut bowls.
Yeah. The Diamond Walnut Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it. Yeah.
Oh boy. So I don't know where that falls. So right now, your Notre Dame Fighting Irish are inside, or you're inside the top 15, right?
Yeah, they're 9th.
Oh, not inside the top 10. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because there was no local teams playing last night. So my wrap up this morning was a kind of potpourri of things. So I touched on the rankings for the NCAA football.
Yep.
And Scotty Duke's Michigan Wolverines are 7th.
Yep.
And in 8th spot is Michigan State, which Michigan State beat the Wolverines, but they're ranked 1 spot behind them.
I saw that.
How's that happen? But I'm sure I know when they do this, they look at the schedule that they have left, if they run the table the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure maybe Michigan State's already played Ohio State and lost, and Michigan hasn't played Ohio State yet. Maybe that's what it is. And I'm sure Ohio State will win and give them their second loss, and they'll be out of it.
So here's the thing. I've got a good friend who lives up the street from us. He is a UNH kid, then a Wake kid. So he did his grad studies at Wake. So he's very excited, as he should be, because his team is kicking ass, although they have their loss. And
who'd they lose to?
Yes. Yes, they did. But here's the thing. And truth be told, and I, as annoying as it would be for a team like Wake to run the table, they still wouldn't be in. And I agree, because when you go to strength of schedule, though, here's the thing. When you go to strength of schedule, I struggle with, if Wake ends up going 11-1 with their loss to UNC, and then you've got another team with a similar strength of schedule that goes 10-2, but based on their wins or the quality, because that's where it gets lost, right?
Well,
the beauty of the NFL is win.
Right.
By 1, by 40, win.
Yeah.
And then, but then you get to college, and there's this nuance of style points, quality of win. There's no such thing as running up the score in college.
I think they should expand the playoffs to 16 games, and then just have, the bowl games. Even the Fenway Bowl is one of the playoff games.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Right. No, but there's
it'll be the Pittsburgh Penguin Bowl. Come on now. Be honest. Dude, what if that happens? What if the Penguins, and what if they drop ice at Fenway, which they've done before? They do it every winter. What if when they drop the ice at Fenway in a couple of years after John Henry?
It's going to be Bruins Penguins at the Winter Classic one year at Fenway Park. That's happening. I'm telling you right now.
That
was one of the first things I thought of. I'm like, that's happening.
1,000%. I'm sorry, we're off track. Go back. Yep. But
no, so who was?
No, I forget.
Because that's the problem. The ACC is a weaker conference compared to the Big Ten and the SEC. So their championship game, I don't even know who's. So it would be Wake Forest and who would be the team they play in the championship?
I'm happy. Louisville? I'm happy to peek for you. Wow, that's really bright. Stand by.
Because it's so. Although Georgia and Alabama are probably playing each other in the conference championship, so you would. So what happens? Alabama beats Georgia. Now they both have one loss. They've lost and they've beat each other once each. So they'll still stay 1-2, which is so
Wake
stupid.
in the conference. Wake in the conference is 6-0 overall, 9-1. Stand by. That's not what I was looking for. There it is. And then the other side's Pitt. God bless them.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep, we are. So there's the Atlantic Division and the Coastal Division. The Atlantic Division, Wake's in first place. What is that last team? That's right, Boston College, 2-4 in the conference. Pleasure. It's a pleasure. And then in the Coastal Conference, Pittsburgh's in front, 5-1, and Duke is bringing up the rear in the Coastal Conference at 0-6.
Yes.
At least they can spell. I'm looking at you, Florida State. Yeah. So I really hope Cincinnati gets a chance to be in one of the 4. I agree, because I think, again, and let's
they're undefeated, and I think Georgia's the only other team ahead of them that doesn't have a loss. Alabama has a loss, Oregon has a loss, and I don't know who the fourth team is, but they also have a loss.
AAC, you've got Houston in first place. Well, from the conference standpoint, Houston's in first place, 7-0. But overall, Houston 9-1, Cincinnati 10-0, SMU 4-2. It falls off the map after that. Yeah, Cincinnati, and let's click in and look at their schedule. No, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Stand by. Sorry about that. That didn't do what I wanted to do.
It'll really suck if they run the table and they don't get a crack at it.
Yeah. So this year, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Oh yeah, ironically, January 2nd last year, we lost to Cincinnati. They beat us 38-6. Correct. So yeah, you're looking at, they beat Austin P 55-20. Then they went, their next game was Cincinnati over Miami of Ohio, 49-14, 42-7 over Murray State. So Murray State, meh, right? But these are their conference games. So you're picking on them for being the AAC, but they're running the table. You know what I mean? Like the rationale behind the rationale behind
loss.
Yeah, but my point being, the rationale behind Chelmsford High School playing McCarthy and being allowed to play McCarthy or Parker is because everybody had to have a 12th game. So at least we all had 12 games.
Yeah.
So if undefeated is not undefeated, then move them to the FCS.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I always, Boise State's been screwed in the past because of it, because of the strength of the schedule.
Their win over you guys 24-13, their win over Indiana 38-24, 52-3 over Temple, 55-21 over UCF, 27-20 over Navy, their closest, 31-12 over Tulane, 28-20 over Tulsa, 45-28 over South Florida, and Saturday, is it this Saturday? I apologize. Yeah, this Saturday. I've lost track, man. I feel like it's Friday. It's not. This Saturday at 3:30, they play SMU, and then they wrap up with East Kakalaka. So, yeah, they don't have like a suit like you guys, Navy, their toughest games without fail. But Luke Fickell, I mean, I'm annoyed that I love that it's happening. I want them to go to a place where it becomes a huge story and they got to do something to deal with this.
Right.
Because a one-loss team is going to the four pack for sure.
Oh yeah. There's at least one, probably going to be two. Because you figure, I would think, like I said, if Alabama beats Georgia in an SEC championship game, then they both have one losses. I bet they both end up in the four. Because, college football will be like, oh, wouldn't that be great to see them play each other again for the title?
Well, yeah. It's again, right now you're right. Yeah. And we're making our point. It's you've got the top four right now. Georgia's undefeated, Bama 9-1, Oregon 9-1, Ohio State 9-1, Cincinnati sitting outside at 10-0. Michigan at 9-1, Michigan State 9-1, Notre Dame 9-1, Oklahoma State 9-1.
Oh yeah.
So that washes it. And what'll be ridiculous is Cincinnati loses this weekend or next weekend. Highly unlikely. They will fall off the planet.
Oh yeah, they'll drop like stones.
Yep.
They'll be 15.
Yep.
Hopefully they get a chance. I think they deserve a chance. If they go undefeated, they should get one of those spots.
Such a great coach too. And they were talking about the fact, like, is he going to go? Will he grab USC if it comes up? And I don't think he would. I
don't think USC.
He's an Ohio State kid. I think Fickell would go back to Ohio State, but obviously Ryan Day's not going anywhere fast.
I mean, I guess it depends on what money they throw at him, because those Pac-12 teams aren't the same as what they used to be. USC, UCLA, it basically Stanford's dropped off, but usually they've been better. It's been Stanford and Oregon State that have been the better teams out there. I think UCLA and USC kind of lost their luster, but if they want to bring it back to what it was, they may throw ridiculous money at him, and then he goes there.
Well, that's it. It's interesting you bring up UCLA too, because that seems to be, which is hard to believe, because I feel like this is the year that he got some traction, but people are now saying if it doesn't go swimmingly well, if they don't finish strong and go to a decent bowl, that Chip could be in trouble, which is really interesting, because I feel like this is the year they started to click, and I honestly don't care what program you're stepping into or what professional team. Like usually in football, a coaching program takes 3 years, and certainly at the collegiate level, because you want to get your recruits into the mix,
right?
Into starting
Yeah,
positions.
you should get 4 years so you can your recruiting class. Your first year is our seniors when you're finishing.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to say the least. So I don't know if you remember what the schedule looked like. Did the Canadians play hockey this week?
Oh God.
I couldn't wait.
Yes.
I couldn't wait.
Yeah, they're hurting. They're hurting really bad. They got
keep
no
going.
goalie.
We've got 20 minutes for this block. Go ahead.
You really want to hear it?
No. I want to. I want to hear you languish verbally on the air. By all means. Yeah.
They have no defense. They have no goalie. That's it. That's and it doesn't look good. We got Carey Price's in treatment.
What happened?
For substance abuse.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. So I don't know. It could be alcohol, or it could be
painkillers.
Yeah. But so if he had surgery on his knee over the summer, and then they said he was going to this program, first everyone was thinking it was, mental issues, because that seems to be the trend nowadays.
Sure.
And but then he came out, he put something out there that said he was going, he did have mental issues that he was dealing with, but also substance abuse issues. So there's no timetable of when he will be back. And then Shea Weber had surgery. He's, I think, possibly could come back in January, but they're going to be so far out of it. It's not even, I think there's 3 teams worse than Montreal right now.
Wow.
And as they say, if you're not in the playoff picture by
this is my solemn
American Thanksgiving, if you're not in the playoff picture by American Thanksgiving in hockey, you kind of could write off the season.
Well,
and the Bruins are right on the cusp. I think they're like 2 points out of the last playoff spot right now.
Well, what's interesting that you brought up the fact that Carey Price might be dealing with some issues outside of just your run-of-the-mill, alcohol abuse. If it is painkillers, if it is tied to the knee surgery, right? I mean, Tuukka's apparently coming back from that.
Yeah,
so
I doubt it would be something that would just happen this summer. He's had multiple surgeries. He's been in pain for probably the last 5 years. He's always been dealing with something. So maybe he's been taking stuff to get him through the games.
Sure.
And it's finally caught up to him. Yeah. So the Tuukka thing. So Swayman played back-to-back days. It's the first time I think they said that Cashman has played a goalie in game back-to-back days.
Yeah.
And so it looks like maybe they like what they see with Swayman. So you have, unless they're gonna trade Ullmark, they have him signed for 4 years.
For 20, right? For 20?
Yeah. Are you gonna bring Rask back and send the kid back down to Providence?
Because nobody's gonna take the Ullmark deal off your plate. I don't think.
Highly doubt it. Especially he's not a very good backup.
I mean, Fenway Sports Group might buy, Fenway Sports Group might buy him because they're flush with money now that they're not spending money on the Red Sox.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the Penguins and your goalie. We'll see you on the field at Fenway.
I mean, because I guess Tuca's been working out at the facility in Boston.
Yeah.
So.
And technically a free agent.
Yes.
So doesn't that
But he says he only wants to come back to Boston. That's what he's been saying right along.
But technically, I guess it doesn't matter because, there's people that are free agents and they're working out here, there, and everywhere. So, but is there some conflict of interest that he's not officially a Bruin, but he's working out at the facility?
Maybe there's because, well, he was probably a free agent before he had the surgery. But there's probably something where whatever your last team you were signed to, I'm sure there's something that you can go there and maybe he's seeing the doctors there and the trainers there still.
Yep.
I'm sure there's something that, the last team you were with, you're able to go there.
Well, because here's the thing. If he does want to play and he only wants to play with us, I'd hate for us to not be able to make it work to force him into retirement. I also think he's probably got enough gas in the tank and wants to play that he would end up somewhere else, and that would suck, especially in Montreal, right?
Or Pittsburgh,
or Pittsburgh, because why not? Yeah, you wouldn't even have to move. Yeah, you live in Boston.
Yeah,
we're gonna move the Penguins. Yeah, you play over there at Brown Arena. So I would like to think they would be crafty enough to figure out something, even if I'll say it, and they won't because it's the Bruins. Eat some of that money.
Yeah, no way.
They'll never. No, they'll never.
Yep.
They do it, but then hot dogs would be $30.
Gave me an idea.
What?
Maybe John Henry's outlook is to bring Pittsburgh to Hartford, the Hartford Penguins, and then Adam will have another team he could root for.
Well, no. First of all, the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't leaving Pittsburgh.
What? No, I'm just saying that would. Because he's from up here, he has the Red Sox up here. Oh.
No, I like what you're saying. I would love to see one of my favorite hats that I have is my Whalers hat. They would do well.
Yep.
1,000% would do well. I would love to see that happen.
Bring back the old Adams division. That would be awesome.
The Adams division. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Send. Well, Tampa Bay is doing too good down there. Maybe the Florida Panthers. Send them up to Quebec. Make them the Nordiques again.
Yes. Yep.
Bring
we get the Winnipeg Jets back.
Yeah,
I would. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Actually, Phoenix doesn't need to be there. They're a horrible team. They don't have a big following. Send them north.
Which is interesting. And yes, they're not. It's not like they're next to each other, but it's interesting that they have struggled so much. And yes, it's the fan experience, but everybody talks about T-Mobile and how the Golden Knights have such a phenomenal game night fan experience going on.
Yeah.
But
also they're a good team.
Well, yeah. I mean, because
Seattle right now, Seattle's one of the worst teams in the league right now, but they'll keep the fan base going a little bit because it's new.
Yep.
But if they stay bad for 5 years, they'll lose interest out there. And Arizona did have a following at a time when they first moved, and they had Keith Tkachuk there.
Yeah,
they were a good team, but they haven't done much in a while.
I would love to see somebody come back to Hartford. And to your point, rebirth of the whale. Because every time I wear that hat, no matter where I wear that hat, I get like every 12 paces, I get a compliment. Because every guy's got a story of, oh my God, it's just like phenomenal. I would love to see that. And the Quebec Nordiques all day would be amaze balls. Amaze balls. I would be all about that. Carry the 4, divide by 3. Celtics, go Celtics. Want to go Patriots? Celtics. I would like to save.
Do you want to
the best for last?
And the best meaning? Do you want to end on a high note to end the show happy, or do you want to end bashing? Because I'm ready to bash the green.
Go ahead. I'll hand you the can opener. Open the can of whoop ass.
I am sick already
and tired
of Tatum. Jason Tatum. I am ready to ship him out.
Oh,
I don't
talk to
think
me. What does that look like?
I think he needs a wake-up call. It's not gonna the only thing I think Udoka can do is bench him and embarrass him. And maybe that wakes him up and is like, hey, listen, if you're not going to play the way we want you to play, instead of going out there and doing ISO ball and doing whatever you want at the end of the game, he has to get I was going through stats before I came on, and it didn't work in my favor. So that's why I kind of left him aside. But
I'm going to work out the math. I'm going to prove everybody. Hang on.
He did have a couple games where he only had like 2 assists and they won, but they haven't beat many good teams. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in the playoff picture right now. They beat them once. They beat Miami. Those are the only 2 playoff teams. If Scotty Dukes was here, he'd say, what about the Milwaukee Bucks? Yes, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks did not have Chris Middleton or Giannis Antetokounmpo in the lineup. So on paper they beat the Bucks, but they didn't really beat the Bucks.
Sure.
And I think they had to go overtime in that game. So they haven't beat anyone good consistently. And tonight's a game. They play Atlanta. Atlanta struggled to start off the season, so they're kind of where the Celtics are. They struggled to start. They started winning a few games lately, so they're probably right around the same spot in the standings. Right now, the Celtics are out of the playoffs by 3 teams. There's 3 teams ahead of them that are out of the playoffs. And it's not looking like it's getting any better. It's like every game, like tonight I'm going to go. I'm like, all right, this is the game. They're going to get their shit together and play like a team. Because when you play like a team on the offensive end, you play like a team on the defensive end, and you play defense and you stop the other team. It goes hand in hand. When you got 4 guys on the offensive end just standing there because the guy's just dribbling, and then forcing up a shot, it's like, why am I even out here? And then they're not going to give it to you on the defensive end. You have to involve everyone on the team, and Tatum is not doing it. The Toronto Raptors game they won, I think he had 6 assists in that game, 6 or 7. And he was driving to the middle. Toronto's defense was collapsing on him. He's passing out to the 3-point, and they're hitting wide open shots. Unless you're Steph Curry, that guy's just ridiculous again. There was a blip on the screen last year, and he was hurt the year before. He is back. He is
1,000%.
If you can hit 9 of 14 every night, go ahead, shoot the 3 from wherever you want. But Jason Tatum doesn't have that shooting percentage like Steph Curry does.
How much is the play right now of the Celtics and exoneration of Brad Stevens?
Oh yeah,
I wanted to sell him on Etsy last year with free shipping. Right?
He's sitting upstairs saying, "See, it wasn't me."
Hello, everybody.
He just won't listen. It doesn't. So they changed the coach. They brought a coach in
they brought their
he
coach
wanted.
In.
And he's still not listening, because I find it hard to believe that Udoka's out there saying, "Oh yeah, just bring the ball up yourself and
do whatever you
dribble and do whatever you want. Don't run any plays." But the positive note of the Celtics is Dennis Schroeder.
You're so excited.
He's had a great week since the last show where I wasn't able to be on, and my son was making fun of me because I was a big Dennis Schroeder fan. And then he led the team in scoring one night, and he was second in scoring another night. I like his effort. He's a dirt dog type, like Marcus Smart. So I've enjoyed him. I couldn't stand him when he was on the Atlanta Hawks and the Lakers because he wasn't our guy, but now he's our guy. And
it's like people that hate Brad
like
Marchand. Yeah, you don't like him because he's an asshole, but when he's your asshole, you're all about it. Yes, all day. So if you could be Danny Ainge and put together the deal, because you're just this close. If you could, the old Danny Ainge, if you could put together the deal, if you had carte blanche within reason, like you can't obviously tell me Steph Curry's coming here, but if you could make a deal tonight by midnight before you turn into a pumpkin, where do you unload not unload? Who do you deal with and who do you bring in?
So I think I don't know the league like Scotty Dukes and Tyler. I don't think you're not getting, the elite guys. You're not getting Giannis. You're not getting Durant or Curry. I don't think you want Anthony Davis at this point. He's been hurt for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a package of possibly draft picks and some good players. I don't think you're not getting Doncic. You're not getting Trae Young. You're not getting any of those other superstars out there for him, unless they're having the same problem. Like if Atlanta's having a problem with Trae Young, the same thing, and maybe it's two superstars just need a change of scenery. Maybe you get someone like that.
Yep.
That's possible. Oh, well, maybe Lillard. Maybe you could do a deal to get Lillard, because I think they're kind of sick of his stuff out in Portland.
Yep.
Maybe you get him. That would be one I'd be. Although Lillard, I think, is probably 6 years older than Tatum.
Yeah.
But I think it'll, in my mind, I notice when he's on the bench that the team plays better. Do they have better players out there? No, especially without having Jaylen Brown right now.
Right.
So you taking Tatum off, you definitely don't have better. But you see the hustle, you see them moving the ball around, and everyone's engaged. When Tatum's out there, they lose their heart. So
it's really strange.
I think it's one of those things. It's the addition by subtraction type thing. I think whatever they can get for him, they would be better off without him.
Right.
And I know Scotty Deuce is probably going to listen to this and want to bite my head off.
There'll be some liner notes.
That's how I feel.
It's the Orlando Cabrera effect. When we brought in Orlando Cabrera and got rid of Nomar, everyone was losing their mind, but he was the guy we needed at the moment, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think and I have at least one Tatum jersey. I have like 2 shirts of his.
Of course you do.
I loved him. Even though he's a Duke guy, I can't stand Duke, but I was very hopeful, and he's kind of gone the wrong way.
Yeah, it's not working for us.
Nope.
It's not working. And so 2 more basketball things. The unis they had on the other night that looked like the old school Bob Cousy with the belt baked in.
So their name on the bottom and the back.
Those are terrible.
Oh, you don't like the city editions?
They weren't the city editions. They were the ones that looked like the old Bob Cousy ones that look like they have a belt around them.
Those are the city editions.
Oh, were those the city? Okay, yeah. I guess I don't.
So they have like the block letters 3D style. I like them.
Let me look up what
then their name, the name's on the lower back instead of up top.
So if I punch in Celtic City Edition, they're come right up.
Yeah, I believe it's that one. Which I've complained the last 2 years because the City Edition has been white. This year it's actually a green one, so maybe I'll get something.
I see the shirts, but they had on something yesterday. They had something on the other day that the shorts. I don't know.
Yeah, so the shorts, they have the 75 on the side for the 75th year of the NBA. And it's actually 75th year of the Celtics too.
I guess they're just one of those classic uniforms. Like I don't want the NBA to F with it much. There's some cool stuff they've done. Blah blah.
But I hate that they don't do something different for their city. Like that one jersey they're gonna wear once in a while. Do something different. Every year it's just green and white.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I don't want them to go crazy with the colors though. Like, don't turn into the Oregon Ducks. Like, I have no room in my heart for that. But I hear what you're saying. And
Pritchard would love it because it would go with his sneakers.
Yeah, well, and Nike is what you and I will always call the Nikeification of uniforms. I think they do a great job when they, like, if you play football for the Oregon Ducks, I think they have 79 different combinations.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's,
I bet it's more than that.
well, it's because Uncle Phil Knight,
Yeah.
the doctor of Nike, like he's an Oregon guy. So they're always going to spend the most time on that uni, and it's cool. But like, sometimes they take the field. I'm like, no.
Yeah, they throw some far out things out there.
Yeah, you lose me on some of that stuff, like, for sure. I thought that the best uni right now, I'm really disappointed with the 3-year deal with Adidas that BC has, because I feel like they're like, it's only going to be 36 months. We don't have to worry about it. The standard uniform for BC this year with Adidas is very bland. I'm a big fan of the varsity stripes on the sleeve. Give me the stripes down the leg, and it's all just very washed out. Although they've done a phenomenal job with the 4 Wells shirts, with the Wells Crowther, the red bandana uniform.
Oh yeah.
Those are phenomenal. The other thing I want to touch on before we move over to the Foxborough kids, and I know you saw this and you probably talked about it this morning. I apologize. Crypto.com center.
Oh,
the Staples Center is becoming.
I just heard about that this afternoon.
I mean, the kids are going to call it the Crypt. It's going to be Tales from the Crypt and all this other stuff, and it's going to be called the Crypt for sure. It's an odd choice.
Did you hear? I heard it was $70 million
but just call it the
for
Crypto
like a
Center.
10-year.
Like crypto.com. Yes, you're driving me to that website, and I appreciate that, because in the menagerie of Bitcoin, which one are they talking about?
Yeah,
because it's like rollerblades aren't rollerblades; they're inline skates, but rollerblades took over the conversation.
Right. Yep.
Crypto.com wants to be the rollerblade of Bitcoin. I appreciate that, but it's a clunky name. And Janina's like that, like they're showing the blimp shot of
that's the name of the business.
That's going to be expensive. I'm like, yes, it's going to be expensive.
That's the name of the business, crypto.com.
I know, but it's just, no, thank you. And what's really interesting too, I don't know, I can't remember if Gillette went with a 20-year deal or a 25-year deal. Don't forget, it opened in 2002. And for 12 minutes, it wasn't Gillette Stadium. Like for 13 seconds, Gillette Stadium was called something else. It was something field. It was. And then it moved real quick and became Gillette Stadium. So I'm really interested. Does Gillette double down and go for another 20 or whatever is going to happen next? Or does that'll be interesting. Can you imagine if that's not Gillette?
I know.
Can't imagine that would be the case, but I think that deal is going to be rolling pretty soon, which is interesting. And I should have looked it up. It was something else for like 12 seconds, and then that evaporated and it became Gillette.
Yeah.
I think it was before they even played a game in it.
But
the crypto.com center.
Good.
So Los Angeles, like, good for you, stupid. Like, terrible.
Well, good news is LeBron says he's going to be back to play against the Celtics, his first game back.
My response exactly. Yes, exactly.
I just retire. He's been hurt. I think he's played like 3 games so far this season. He's not Tom Brady.
Well, I was just going to say, but every professional athlete has that in their head now.
But it shows you, okay, whatever Tom is doing.
Yep, avocado ice
doing it right.
Yep.
Plus, the basketball players take more of a pounding on their legs and stuff over the course of their career. So he just Tom, whatever it is, I thought we would see more people. Well, we're definitely seeing more players play later than they used to.
Sure.
But to see a guy play elite still, although he had a bad weekend, is that what we're calling it? He's going to be 45 and he's still playing top notch.
He'll be 45 in August, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see many players playing into their 40s at an elite level.
Yeah, they didn't do well against the Redskins, although we're not good. Hi, Tom. We miss you. We're not going to talk about Tom. Completely wrong. You probably wrote it down because I know I said.
No, I didn't write it, but
I said 38-31. It was going to be a shootout, but I did have us winning, even though I predicted that the Patriots would go 8-9. So I'm perilously close to being.
I wasn't on the show
wrong.
last week, so I didn't make a prediction, but I definitely would have taken the Browns.
Would you have? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because when we did the show last week, Chubb was still going to be playing.
Right.
So I mean, that was a little bit of a factor, but
yep,
man,
that was unbelievable.
I tell you that what we thought preseason for the defense is how they're playing now. I don't know how good the Chargers are, and Browns were kind of beat up. So I'm waiting for the Tennessee game next week.
Yep.
And the 2 games against Buffalo. That's
pretty exciting. We have both of those left.
Yeah.
That's going to be
because their schedule is still, Cleveland is barely a playoff team right now. Chargers are they're clinging on to like one of the last spots. So it's hard to when they beat those teams, you're like, oh yeah, it's a good win. But I don't know yet. I'm still holding out. They played really well against Tampa and Dallas, which were 2 good teams. They just missed out. I think I'd like to have a shot again at one of those teams come February.
Well, you know what I've always said, and I know you've heard me say it. If we're going to see somebody in the playoffs, I love losing to them in the regular season.
Yep.
That always plays in our favor, right? Because
except against the Giants.
Yes. Amen, sister. Well, no, but don't forget that first Super Bowl we lost to them, we lit them up.
No, that's what I'm saying. We beat them and then lost.
It usually always holds true. So yes, I'd rather lose to them in the regular season.
Because the Rams
and he's got the microfiche,
Can't remember that I either went to the Rams game, which was their last loss that season, the first Super Bowl they won, or I was at the next game against New Orleans that they went on their winning streak. I was at one of those games. I was right. That was, man.
I was going to say, we need a loop of Dennis Green when he was the head coach of the Vikings, but the audio has to get switched. The audio has to get switched, and we need to have him saying they aren't who we thought they were, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It is. I'm trying not to get too excited.
I want to get not excited, yes, because I'm getting lulled out of my prediction and into a trap that is heartbreaking. Yes. Yep.
4 weeks ago, I was ready to say they were going to have 4 wins, luckily, and now, geez, they're. Scotty Dukes, I think, picked 12 wins. I think they're right on pace for that.
Yeah, he was pretty excited about his prediction. Well, so here's the question for you: is tomorrow night a trap game?
I'm worried about that, but Atlanta is so bad. And they're so, especially if they don't
making my point.
Imagine this. We're worried about Cordero Patterson.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like the kid Dobbs, the tight end, who's phenomenal.
Yep.
They have him and Patterson's the only 2 that have been making plays, and Patterson is questionable to play.
No, you're thinking of not Dobbs.
What's the tight end? It's something. It's something like that.
I know. I want to say Pickett, and I'm losing my. Kenny Pickett is the starting quarterback for University of Pittsburgh. That's not what I'm talking about.
Dobbs, something.
Nope, you're not even like close. That. Not even close.
No,
you're not even close. No.
Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Thank you.
Pitts. So something like Dobbs, Pitts.
Pitts, Dobbs, Pitts. Whatever. Yeah, no, it's Kyle. It's Kyle Pitts.
Got some breaking news out of Major League Baseball. Not good for the Red Sox because this guy, Justin Verlander, signed a 1-year deal with the Houston Astros, $25 million. He was floated out there to be possibly on the Red Sox radar. So yeah.
So maybe Danny left the Celtics, and now he's just that close. He's doing it. He's doing it for the Fenway Sports Group now. Oh my God. All right. So tomorrow night, give me your prediction.
28-3 Patriots.
I I got 20-3. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I want to go there with you, but I've got why I don't know why I see this in my head, but I see 24-17. I see 20, and it shouldn't be. It should be a landslide.
Yes.
It should be Reagan Mondale. Like that, it should be a landslide.
Still, you got Matty Ice Hart in there.
I can't help it. But yeah, you know what? He had his chance.
Yeah.
He had his chance and he melted. And
well, it wasn't totally his fault. It was the stupid coach's fault for calling bad plays.
Oh, 1,000%.
You know,
but like, yeah,
I felt bad for him. I know you think I hate BC sports. I do not. Don't call Janina and tell her that I'm lying.
No, I talked to him about this before we started the show. He promised he wouldn't lie on the air, but he's doing it again. Yeah. No,
I do like. Okay. I was.
Yep. Have a good night, Doug. Flutie said, "Stop lying." Yeah. It's the hotline. That's the flute line.
So next week I'm pulling it out. I have a Doug Flutie jersey.
Oh, I have 19 of them. Yes.
I like BC. I feel bad for them.
I feel bad. You're not making any friends on this side of the microphone.
So we've been over the last time it was just you and I on. I talked about this, that they should be, their football games should be on every week in this area.
Region. Amen, sister. Yes.
They should. I don't understand why now, when they were the Big East, they didn't do it. Now they definitely don't do it because it's the ACC and it's all Southern teams for the most part.
Yeah.
But they should be on every week. When I'm in the car, I throw it on. I listen to Mita Perel.
Oh my God. Take a bow.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He's unapologetically, bleeds maroon and gold, which I adore. Yeah, because he also went over and took over for Teddy. He does the basketball too.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure Mita Perel is also doing hoop. Yes. So we need like, that's a mini series. The transgressions of Boston College athletics. We don't have time for that. But so you said 28-3.
Yeah.
I go 24-17. We're going to have to get who clearly is probably going to win the ATB Fantasy Football League Stupid Bowl. Bobby Dugan will have to be on at some point. But of course, the problem we're having there is he's West Coast. So he's San Diego. Yeah. So he's 3 hours behind us, and it just doesn't seem to fit his schedule. So we'll eventually get him on. We trust that we'll be back next week. Maybe a full house, maybe not. I don't know. Otherwise, you'll keep getting.
So it's Tuesday next week.
We are doing everyone. We're gonna pull the trigger on Tuesday next week because I just think Wednesday, self-serving. I threw that night out only for the fact that Wednesday for me here at our office, we basically come in and we do a pie day for all of our agents, and then everybody's out of here by 12. And I just want to be off to the holidays.
Oh, it works for me because I'm at the fire station next Wednesday, so I don't have to bring everything into the station.
I love all of that. Yeah. So next Tuesday, we think we may have a full house. If we don't, at the very least, Rubber Shoes and I will be here haunting your screen, giving more poor predictions.
We'll be looking forward to Chelmsford Burica, which another thing.
So one thing about Thanksgiving that I will miss, I would go down to my parents' house, Bentley Lane, and Richard would have that on in below standard definition, right?
But the thing is, on, was it channel 43?
Yes. Sure. Yes. Where occasionally you will get the 1990 talent show.
Yeah.
Kevin will text me like, dude, guess what's on channel 43 right now?
No, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
They randomly will just play, all the years.
We got a DVR that one time.
Somebody has that microfiche. Yeah. Yes. We'll have to throw that on.
The MIAA, which is they control all the sports for Massachusetts. Actually, it might be New England because I think like the wrestling in New England is
interscholastic.
Oh yeah. So MIAA has totally effed up high school football.
Mm-hmm.
They start the playoffs the first weekend of November.
Uh-huh.
So the Thanksgiving rivalry games mean nothing now. It's so stupid. Why would you start the playoffs before your season ends? It's awful.
I don't understand. And when I moved up here, I was wildly confused because as we grew up, of course, Chicken Giving was your last game,
Yep.
your rivalry game, and it was always Chelmsford.
And then the
Billerica.
Super Bowl was the
and
next
then from
weekend.
there,
Yep.
it was the next week, and you're going to be at Foxborough and
Yep.
playing all that awesomeness. And I get up here, and this is, of course, years ago. And when we were doing professional radio, I use those terms loosely. I remember just being a masshole, and I'm like, I'm inviting in the Portsmouth cheerleading team and all this stuff, and the players to come in and talk about their game, and they're like, "Oh no, our season finished." Like New Hampshire wraps it up super quick.
Oh,
they're
really?
like, they're done. Yeah,
they don't have Thanksgiving games.
I'm pretty sure they're already done.
Wow.
I'm 1,000% sure, probably wrong, but I'm pretty sure as we speak, they've wrapped already.
Huh.
Yep. Maybe there's some playoff stuff coming, but but there's no Thanksgiving
so many
Day.
times I remember going to the Billerica Chelsea game, and it actually meant it was like whoever wins this game is going to the playoffs or the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The one year I went to Billerica to the game. Tom Glavine was there.
Yep.
For the it's and now I have no desire to even go. It's like I could sit at home and watch football.
Right.
Like it was something to go there. Yeah, you'd see some old friends, so that was part of it also. But it actually, the game meant something most years. And
so how are they starting if we're playing Billerica on Thursday of next week? How do the playoffs already start?
I don't know how they've determined it. It's awful. I don't understand how they can determine it and why they determine it, but it's the playoffs start like the first weekend of November.
Well, it's like when they're playing the bowl games, like the Heisman is already voted on at that point, right? Like, well, no, that for sure, because the bowl games come after the fact. But I'll never forget, everybody talked about how when Doug chucked the Hail Flutie, everybody said, "Oh, that solidified the Heisman vote." They had already voted him the Heisman winner at that point. That Miami Hail Flutie was a fait accompli. Like that was just icing on the cake. It had nothing to do with it, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm perplexed by that. We'll have to bring Coach K on. Maybe he can explain it to us.
Yeah. So I have right here. They have so this is November 1st published, and it has the seeds for the playoffs.
Yep. But when is Foxborough? Like every Super Bowl in the state gets played at Gillette. Has that already happened?
Yeah, no, it doesn't give dates, but this shows all the games for the first round, which already took place.
What?
Or maybe it's this says Friday. Yeah, so this was put out on November 1st, what I'm looking at right now. So that would have been last Friday was the first round of the playoffs for high school football.
Okay. So next Thursday is a beauty pageant. That's it. It's a game. It's just a game.
Yep.
It's an exhibition game. Season's already over.
So basically, it's a game. If you're in the playoffs, it's a game where you could get injuries
1,000%
that cost you in the playoffs. So that game it's like
it's week 18 of the NFL
where guys don't play because they want to get drafted and they don't want to get hurt in the bowl game.
Or it's week 18 of the NFL.
Yeah. Right. Yep. That's basically what it is. Yep. Means absolutely nothing.
Terrible. Well,
yeah.
That's great work out of them. Awesome.
When the first year, and this is probably going on close to 10 years that it's been like this now. I can't believe. I thought for sure that people would be uproar and it would change, but I guess the MIAA wins.
Do they though? Do they?
Well, the kids definitely lose.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. They'll find a way to ruin everything. Give them time.
Yep.
Give them time.
Yep.
Well, we
Stupid
appreciate you
adults.
hanging out with us for sure. Jump on to atbshow.com. That'll take you to our YouTube page where all of the shows are stacked for your viewing pleasure. If you are loving this and you're sharing it with your friends, we love that. If you're watching and you've got comments, we love that. And if you're looking for the Rubber Shoes Wrap Up and Rant, that is on Instagram every morning. And if you are in our Instagram bio, you'll find our link tree for all the other socials. So we'll see you back here next Tuesday on Thanksgiving Eve. And it could be just me and Rubber Shoes. So brace yourself. Maybe we'll have some of our other friends here. Maybe we won't. We want you to have a great night and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.